Hello and welcome to another episode of MonkeyBytes, hosted by us at NetMonkeys. My name's Liam. You might have seen me in a couple of previous episodes. I'm here today with my guest, Dillon from Office Mango. How you doing, mate?
Oh, very good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're more than welcome, more than welcome. So, me and Dillon actually met nearly 2 years ago now.
Is that long?
Yeah, it's got to be. So we were at the home of a Premier League miracle, Leicester's King Power Stadium. But the less said about that, the better, as Man United came second. Yeah, it was a bit of a chance meeting, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I was actually not meant to be going to that event. I signed up kind of last minute, and it was just on trying to go to as many networking events as possible. Ended up going there, just going around talking to people, and then the bright yellow stand caught my eye, and thought I had to come over and see how you guys were. And
Yeah, the yellow polos, they're certainly they're hard to miss.
yeah,
Yeah, because you'd only just started at that point, hadn't you?
yeah, we were only about 3 months in, because I think it was the June or July, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 months in, still trying to get as much like networking and visibility and meeting new people out there as possible. So yeah, you're one of the most interesting stands we saw, and I just like I said, the bright yellow, I just wanted to come over. Then that kind of influence, we need a bright color. So
Well, I'm glad we inspired. Yeah, I think it's one of those stories. Like we'll get onto a bit about sort of Office Mango and what they do. But we are in sort of adjacent industries, and I think it was cool that we had, a proper conversation rather than just like, oh, you're in a similar space to me. It's all about collaboration, not competition.
yeah, exactly.
Especially in the SME space, which we both work in.
Yeah.
So yeah, with no further ado, tell us a bit about Office Mango and your journey so far.
Yeah, I guess I'll give a bit of background context. So we are like an Excel consultancy company, and my experience with Excel was when I was on my apprenticeship, going around all the different departments that I was doing. I was finding that a lot of our downfalls were within processes or reporting in Excel, and so I was just using like my skill set as I was going around my normal apprenticeship, um, and that got led to bigger and bigger projects I was involved with. Towards the end, I was moved to sites to help out with a major project, building asset management systems. Like quite a bit was recognized for my skill set in the workplace. So, unfortunately, 2.5 years into my apprenticeship, they closed down my site and a neighboring site.
Right.
So myself and like 800 other people were made redundant. Um, and when I was looking for what to do next and what next steps I could take, apprenticeships weren't really that much of an option from the people that I spoke to, because no one wanted someone who was already 2.5 years into their course. They wanted someone who they could take fresh year 4 years on, things like that. So there were 3 apprentices. 2 of them did manage to carry on. I couldn't. And I got a call from my best friend and our business partner, and he was like, "Well, we've always said we wanted to start a business. Why don't we try and use your skill set in Excel to start Office Mango, or what became Office Mango?" And so that's kind of how we started. Was that demand that I found from my previous job,
Mhm.
and then yeah, the past year it's been amazing. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, and it's been very mixed to like learn the world of business, and also go from being viewed as an apprentice who's there to like learn everything, into a business owner who should know what they're doing and be in charge of those decisions.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a sort of sink or swim moment, but mad respect for the whole. Okay, this is a bad situation. You and Justin sort of pulling together and go, well, actually, we spoke about this before. Why not? Just do it.
Exactly.
Taking the Nike approach, I guess. Yeah, no, love that. And now you've been going what, 18 months?
Almost 18 months, yeah, it's strange.
Yeah. Anyone that follows me on LinkedIn or Dillon will see that they are massively active on social media and building quite the presence. It's a journey that I've really enjoyed sort of being involved with and getting to know. And Dillon's been a guest to a couple of our events. We hosted a event for people in our network
Mm,
back at the beginning of June, I think it was,
yeah.
which was really cool to see you sort of in your element talking to people.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
awesome to like it was such a different one as well,
mhm.
to have that format rather than it being like, let's rent a meeting room space or something like that. It allowed conversations to take place with your activities that you planned, with going on little adventures together, the walking in between places, like all of that was really positive.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the plan. So yeah, NetMonkey's in the wild. We're trying to do it every quarter. It's a case of we get people, a mixture of suppliers, customers, prospective customers, and even just people in our wider network. It's so easy to go to just another networking event, which, might be a meeting room space and it's a 5-minute elevator pitch. But, when you've had 5, you really have to stand out. Whereas this is a bit more relaxed and a bit more sort of fostering those natural conversations.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely been productive for not only NetMonkeys, but the guests we had as well.
Yeah, I had a couple conversations off the back of it, and following up with people as well. So yeah, even if they don't turn into business, it's those relationships that you're expanding and things like that. So yeah, it was really positive.
So 18 months in then, what's the current state of affairs? What's big on Office Mango's radar?
Well, as of recording, yesterday we launched our training division, which is exciting. So a lot of the bespoke solutions that we've been doing over the past year, we've delivered help files or taught teams how to use them. And then they keep coming to us with like, oh, how would you do this in Excel and all of that stuff. So we want to give it the attention that it deserves in its own training division that's separate to what we've been doing. So that's really exciting. We're going to have webinars, workshops, mentoring, lots of different stuff coming. So
Cool. You're taking on an own apprentice, is it? Or
an intern, yeah.
An intern, yeah. So sort of like starting where your journey was, a few years ago, you're taking someone through there from the start, which is cool.
Yeah, it's just, my apprenticeship was amazing. I absolutely loved being able to learn from people and learn from that expertise and get that experience. And so when I was able to be in a position to do something, I wanted to. And right now, that means that over the summer, I can take on a graduate as an internship. Marketing is something, especially with the launch of the training division, we would need some help with. So I want to take the same principles from my apprenticeship of portfolio building or evidencing all those knowledge, skills, and behaviors that you would learn for that role to be able to give someone the opportunity to do all of that. So they'll be involved in content creation, they'll be involved in like directing a shooting day, be involved in running a campaign, the analysis, and get all this different experience to hopefully help them. And that's something that's really important to me. So the fact that I'm in a position to do it, I want to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, NetMonkeys, we take on some apprentices as well in our sort of service desk. And yeah, they're great guys, and it's just being able to sort of nurture them and get them those skills. It's just it's good to give back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So obviously 18 months in, but your first year anniversary was quite the event. It was pretty cool to see sort of you and Justin in your element with people that the network you've built up. It was an absolutely packed day. And I got to add guest speaker onto my CA, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously us both being companies that work in the IT space, I think it's quite exciting time to be in IT because, you wind the clock back 10, 15 years. And it was very much the IT guys were very behind the scenes. We're a lot more relevant now, I feel. What's your experience been like being in that sort of tech heavy industry and how like your wider network sort of views you in that?
Yeah, I think it is quite difficult. And it's something that we wanted to try and change. And a lot of what we've done has been very purposeful in that approach. So we don't want to be, tucked away in the back corner or anything like that, like IT professional kind of have been. We want to be these fun, approachable, like with all of that stuff. And so, let's choose to wear hoodies and jeans rather than, shirts and trousers and do like more approachable. Let's do funny videos on TikTok and LinkedIn rather than always being serious to like try and help break that mold. And I think overall, like not just for Office Mango, but overall, I think the kind of perception is changing. And it's really interesting to see. And I think it's really positive to get some of those day in the life videos coming up and being quite popular and kind of breaking that barrier that you're not just tucked away in a dark room coding all day. Like there's a lot more to the role.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been helped by sort of how far technology's come and how more accessible it's been. It's no longer a case of the dark arts, turn it off and on again and that's it. I think everyone's aware of sort of how the tech industry's going. AI is a massive thing. I know every IT-based podcast is going to mention AI at some point, so we may as well bring it in now.
Yeah.
we've got our own AI consultancy here at NetMonkeys, which, has been doing some really, really clever stuff. But you see it all over the news. On the other side of things, you've got the cybersecurity becoming more and more relevant. Um, Not always for the greatest reasons. We've all seen M&S on the news, and how the hackers were literally just teenagers farming, which I think has sent some shockwaves out in the industry. And me and you both deal predominantly with SMEs.
Yeah.
But if some teenagers can hack a company as big as M&S,
Yeah.
making sure that your data is in line is something that just has to be done. It's no longer a nice to have.
Yeah.
Which needs to. I think people are starting to wake up and smell the roses with that.
Absolutely. It's scary to think that a company like M&S with hundreds of millions of pounds coming in and loads of locations in this massive company actually has that vulnerability that some teenagers can have that sort of effect.
Yeah.
So your freelancers and your SMEs, how vulnerable are they? Like,
Yeah.
it is scary.
Absolutely. I think, in a way, sort of what you guys do in terms of the training and the consultancy for staff, and part of NetMonkey's approach to security, there are some sort of parallels, even though it's totally different aspects of the IT industry. For something that I preach quite regularly on conversations with customers, and indeed on a previous podcast with Huntress, is that having clued up people, and that knowledge and that training is just so important. And there's the concept of the sort of human firewall,
Yeah.
which is, if your guys know what they're doing, they just make it so much easier for your IT security people, because it takes something really good to get through that initial net.
Yeah.
And a huge part of that comes down to training, be that in security or, for your case, in Excel and some of the other programs that you guys are going to be working with.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Like what we struggle with is macros. Like, macros still leave your computer quite vulnerable, and trying to outline to people that when you can download files off of the internet for Excel frameworks or things like that, and they contain macros, making sure that you verify who they're from and that they're digitally signed, and it's all of that communication piece. They're very powerful if they're used correctly, but then equally if they're not, then they're quite powerful.
I didn't want to say, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? Yeah. I think absolutely. Just a bit of common sense with anything that is coming from the web,
Yeah,
goes a long way.
exactly.
Yeah. So I know I keep going back to sort of how the journey's gone. I've mentioned, that you're big on the social media. So tell me a little bit about this. Every day I want to do something that makes me uncomfortable. And getting out of your comfort zone as sort of an entrepreneur in a new business.
Yeah, I think when I was at school, I was completely shy, introverted. I remember I had a mentor in year 8 who said, "Your only challenge for this week is to raise your hand and answer a question in one of your classes." And I went back to him the next week with not having done that because I was too scared about what people think. And I had a couple mentors on my apprenticeship which helped develop my skills quite a lot. But I was still in this protected environment where I knew everyone in the company. It was, presentations to people I knew. And then when I stepped out of that comfort zone into having my own business, well, no one else is going to do the work, unfortunately. So yeah, I want to go and meet new people. And then I have to step out my comfort zone and get over that to go to these networking events, or to take opportunities like coming onto a podcast, or to go and do public speaking and things like that. So this past year has been very much about stepping outside of my comfort zone and trying to become more confident with stuff. And the little nod to doing stuff that's uncomfortable, one of the things was posting on LinkedIn. I didn't have social media before I had my business. I deleted it all, wasn't interested. And now posting, I thought one of the good ways to help me stay on top of it would be to do like diary entry styles, and just kind of publish it about what I've been doing on my apprenticeship or in business, or how I'm feeling, and then just share that as like a little, what I would have written to myself, but for others to see, as kind of a first step. And now it's been a lot easier over the past 6 months to publish more and more stuff and kind of get out there more and more.
Yeah, well, I guess, as a business owner, the buck does stop with you.
Yeah.
So like you said, no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And taking those steps is really admirable. Today's actually your first podcast.
It is today's first
Cool.
podcast. Thank you very much for having me and taking a leap with me.
Absolutely. It's something that we've sort of brought in relatively recently at Monkeys, and it's been a blast to do so far.
I've seen a couple episodes, but it's been really good.
Cool. So another part of the journey that I found really cool with sort of the Office Mango brand, when I came to see you back in April, was the team challenge.
Yeah.
That you and Justin have set up for. It's an annual thing you guys do, right? So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So a big part of what me and Justin value and care about is health, fitness, lifestyle, all of that stuff. And so we want to, as we're building Office Mango, kind of do that stuff from the start of embedding it. And this is something that we want to continue with. Whoever's working at Office Mango in some way gets involved. Maybe that's not doing the challenge, but maybe that's supporting with the filming or helping the logistics or, things like that as we go forward. So 2 years ago, I tried to do an ultramarathon event. I hadn't ran for 8 months. It was the hottest day of the year. It was when we had the 36 degrees heat wave 2 years ago. I decided the night before that I'd do it, didn't fuel up. I took a couple granola bars with me and was like, I'm running home from this picnic that we're going to. I got 14 kilometers in, ran out of water. It was just a headache and needed to be picked up. And so I pitched them at the first team challenge, I want to get redemption. I want to do that challenge again, but with the support crew, all of that. So that actually tied in with the first team challenge of Office Mango last year, where we redid that route. Justin and Jack supported me on Bytes. We planned it all, got a support team from family and to meet with us at checkpoints. And I did my first ultramarathon. It was 55 kilometers. The furthest that I'd ran before that was 36 kilometers. So it was a massive PB in that sense.
I am. As someone that is not built for long distance, that is daunting just to hear.
Yeah, my knees still hurt if I think about the day too much because it did take its toll on me. But yeah, that was really good, and that was kind of a good start. But we want to make it much more of a group thing. That was very much about I want redemption for this. Whereas going forward, we want it to be much more of a group activity. So we're now planning this year's one, which will take place in mid-September, hopefully, depending on weather.
And what have you got planned for that?
Yeah, this one, again, trying to lean into that more fun side of stuff. We want to go to the Peak District, find a 1 mile loop that we can do, take it in turns to each run that 1 mile loop, and we'll do 10 each for a 30-mile marathon distance as a team. But before each lap, we're going to spin a wheel that will have different challenges on. So it may be do your mile with an egg and spoon. It may be having a mango inflatable costume if we can get one. It may be that you get to do your mile on a bike, so it's really easy. You may have to wear your shoes on the wrong feet. I don't know. We've got 40 challenges that we can go through that you may get some good, some bad.
I think you showed me some of the ones you were brainstorming back in April.
Yeah.
And some of them were pretty brutal. Obviously, of the two of us, you've got a lot more experience with running, but the advice I would give is the inflatable costume. Don't underestimate how much of a challenge that's going to be.
Yeah.
I've done a fun run before where I had to don a mascot style bear costume.
Oh, really?
It gets warm fast.
I can imagine.
Is my we'll see if I can get some footage of that and Caleb can use it for whatever it is to do. So we'll go back to April. I think a real celebration of sort of the journey you guys have had. It was great to go down to University of Warwick and see sort of a mixture of your customers and other people that have sort of been part of that journey with you. How many people were there? And it was about 40, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was just under 40 people, which was insane. To have that many people come along, and thank you for coming as well. It was a long journey for you to come down, but I really appreciate you coming down for that and being a guest speaker, because that was your first time doing something like that as well, right?
Yeah, that was it was very much an experience. It was a bit I've obviously done a lot of presentations before working in sales, but it was the first time it was sort of just a presentation about sort of my journey rather than this is the product that you're going to need.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think everyone there was really supportive about it. April thinking a tweed suit wouldn't be too warm, and then it was the hottest April day I think we've had in 5 years. First time at University of Warwick campus. Taxi dropped me the other side of it, so it was about a 20-minute walk. So I'm just glad I managed to wipe the sweat off before I was handed the mic, to be honest.
It was the moment for you, but you were best dressed.
Exactly.
Sure.
I wouldn't dare take the jacket off because the bit stains on the shirt. But no, it was a really cool experience, and I think what I've said earlier sort of was echoed by the people there, and sort of you guys are taking that first step on the journey and doing it your way as well. I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's it. Like most people will do maybe they'll get a balloon and take a photo for social media and be like, we're turning one. Amazing. Like that's kind of it. But we were speaking, one of my friends suggested it in December that we do it. And me and Justin were like, it's going to cost way too much money, like too much time commitment, all of that. So we kind of wrote it off and then met with a marketing consultant for other stuff. And she was like, no, absolutely do it. Like you need to do it, find a way to make it happen. And that gave us 6 weeks until the date to make it all happen. And we were like, actually, yeah, this could be a really good idea. We don't want it to be the sales pitchy stuff or anything. We've met some incredible people over this past year and we want to bring those together in a group. We want to have a few of them give talks about their story. So like you said, it wasn't a sales pitch about what you guys do or anything. It was more about you, your story, your journey.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we wanted from the day as well, is less about buy this stuff from us. It was more about here's what we found on our first year, the challenges, things like that. So yeah, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Yeah. And I think everyone that I spoke to there sort of echoed the sentiment. Like it was a bit different to most networking events, but in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And it allowed sort of those conversations to sort of foster themselves naturally. And it just gave a really good environment. So yeah, thank you for having me and thank you for hosting it. And I'm glad we could return the favor while hosting you on this.
Yeah.
One of my highlights of that event in particular was the video diary you guys did, which I thought was a really cool idea for a new business, was just sort of to show that, oh, this is the first time we're doing that. This is coming out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a compilation of those firsts and those highlights. And in some cases, some of them more struggling, but it really gave a showcase of that first year.
Yeah.
We're actually going to finish this podcast with a shortened version of that, just so we can sort of see a condensed version of your journey. And yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Cheers. Thank you.
Good morning. Finished up with the meeting for the team challenge. Really excited, really looking forward to it. Happy they're both on board.
It's 10 to 15 minute walk to the event. So, great. Yeah, I haven't told you that yet.
Bees. Oh my god. No! There's a spider!
We've made it to the event.
We have officially now got Office Mango uniform. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Amazing. Thank you very much. See you in a bit. And then that's our first project under our belt, which so excited. Hopefully
have officially not only ran a marathon, but an ultimate.
So we are here for the Midlands Business Expo.
Today we are heading off to the NatWest Accelerator business program. We have been accepted onto that as Office Mango, which is awesome.
We now have flyers. We did it. We actually did the B2B Expo in Coventry. So for the second time this year, we are exhibiting at another event, which is awesome.
This video, opening scene, take one.
You want to be a freaking sheath this Valentine's Day?
It's okay every now and again to sit back and take a break and to think things through. But every now and again you also have to do the adverse side of that, and you have to just get on and do things no matter how they make you think and feel.